You're here.
Hmm? Oh, a most unusual place to meet. I was told that this plant resembles the one in McQuad. I wanted to examine it myself. The similarities really are uncanny. Ilma was telling me something. According to the Lycelians, there are plants like this everywhere. I do not mean simply everywhere on our land, but beyond the sea.
The west coast of Aelio is constantly under attack. That's why Aelio town was so essential. Maybe there's a plant somewhere out there.
It is quite possible. The Lycelians believe that many are no longer operational, but they do not know for certain. Nothing has changed in that regard. No matter what the Lycelians tell us, our hands are tied.
Which means that for now, there's no way to put a stop to their production.
Right. We have no choice but to approach the problem with care.
Try not to die.
Then, what about Zephetto? We were just talking about Zephetto, and about what exactly he did on Helpha. We thought it might give us some sort of hint for dealing with the Starless.
We've pieced together a lot from what we've learned from the Lycelians. The main problem is that there's just so much data to sift through. It's 500 years worth, after all. And the data really leaves no doubt. But one thing we've learned is that Zephetto wasn't always a caste. He made that change to extend his longevity for his experiments.
That's some dedication.
Yes, he was entirely committed to his work. In the beginning, it looks like he did try to keep the Halpha experiments safe, but he wasn't getting the results he was looking for. When he developed the dolls, the experiments became something more like real warfare. A big turning point for that was when he introduced Dark Falls. It basically became survival of the fittest. Defenders who survived saw tremendous spikes in their photon power.
And so, that's why we were forced to fight against Dark Falls too.
I honestly could never forgive what Zepheto has done. But I can understand why he did it. As Aelio's leader, I understand doing whatever it takes. I feel the same about the people of Aelio. Of course, I would never take things as far as he did. I heard that he said his wish had been fulfilled. If that's true, it means we can beat the Starless. At least I hope so.
Hey, there you are. Something like that. We just bumped into each other. We were talking about that thing. Our research is coming along little by little. We're starting to learn more about Lucille. Feria was talking about it before. Halpha is controlled from Lucille. I mean, they were even controlling the weather from there.
Wind, rain, snow. All of it was being manipulated.
right down to the temperature and humidity.
I can't believe they had that level of control.
Really? Pretty good detective work. I think you'd make a great researcher. The Lucilans shared some new information with us. There's a place in Lucille's core that only Zepheto can enter. If we can get in there, we can get all the info we still don't have. About the Starless and stuff.
That would be great. Do we know of some way to get in?
Unfortunately, the teleporter we used before is still down. But we did find another way to get inside Lucille.
Nice.
We put together a scout team right away and they tried going. But there was some strange space in the way.
Sorry, what?
We're still not exactly sure what to make of it. It seems like it was being used as a testing ground before Alpha was created. Or at least the remnants of it did. And it was really dangerous. There were a lot of enemies. It looks like it might not be so easy to get to the core. We're investigating the area and trying to figure out how to deal with it.
Interesting. Be sure to keep us posted.
You bet. I'll let you know how it goes.
Good to see you. I was reading that Lucilan report. It made me want to look to the sky. Would you mind lending me an ear as I get my thoughts together? Resurgent ARCS members were born to research and develop ARCs and alls. That's it. That's all they've ever known. And the result of this ARC's development plan they were working on was us. But then, where does that leave Meteorn like you and me? Meteorn come from outside Alpha's atmosphere, way beyond Lucille. I hear there's a huge station up there. But according to them, even the Lucilans know nothing about it, aside from the fact that it sent out some Meteorn. Seems like the people of Alpha came up with the word Meteorn in the first place. The Lucilans called us first generation, second generation, and so on. Crawford and Ina are descendants of the second generation. You and me, we're third generation. Photon sensitivity gets stronger with each generation. But I think yours is especially strong, even for the third generation. Not that we know why that is. Even Manon and Faria say your origins are a mystery. We were created for a single purpose, to counter the Starless. People like us, we were born to either research or to fight. In my book, that's not much different from the Laseelans. Sorry. I didn't mean to ramble. I better get back to my post.
Thank you all for coming. Today, I'd like to discuss our surveys of Halpha's various regions. Specifically, how we might better leverage them against the Dolls and the Starless.
Is there something wrong with how we're doing them?
Well, there's no problem with the intel, but our methods have been uncoordinated and frankly, inefficient. Which is why I've begun the formation of a joint research team.
A fine idea. But every team needs a leader, yes? Who will that be?
That's a good question. But before I address it, I'd first like to talk about one of our research team members from Alia.
Huh?
Manon. Yes, I guess you could say that. She and I discussed it, and came to an agreement.
So, does that mean she's free now?
That's right. I'll need her to give me updates, but otherwise, it's business as usual.
Awesome. Would it be alright if we helped out with her research too? The three of us should be together, right?
Unfortunately, I'll need you two to focus on your own duties.
What? But...
I'll need you to lean into your role as our guardian against the Starless. And Aina, I'll need you to look after our new trainees.
Then I'll do it. I'll lead that research team.
Glenn?
I've handed over combat command to Kanui anyway. I've got nothing but time on my hands. I'll take care of Manon too.
It would be a tremendous help.
Let me know if you get any other volunteers.
Will do. Guess I will be the only one.
Aina, probably need your help occasionally. I'll be counting on you.
Glenn...
But in the meantime, just handle whatever Crawford needs you to do. You bear the weight of Ark's future on your shoulders now.
Yeah, I know.
Are we done here? We'll figure out the details once we get the team together.
Right. We'll decide the particulars of an action plan later. Oh, hello. You came at just the right time. Do you have a minute to talk? Faria here was just telling me more about the Starless.
So far, it's been familiar information.
But any scrap of info at this point helps a great deal. I thought it might be a good idea to share it with you, our guardian. Is there anything in particular you would like to know about the Starless?
They suddenly appeared from outside of human space, seemingly from nowhere.
And then they began attacking, seemingly without reason. That was 500 years ago now. Sadly, humans at the time were no match for them, and those on the periphery were. Suffice it to say, many lives were lost in the remote star systems. Right, but the inner regions were mostly left untouched. There wasn't exactly a fight, per se.
After the Starless destroyed the border star systems, they began to expand their offensive, even farther afield. Until one day, they suddenly disappeared.
Good question. That's what people at the time suspected. They even carried out a large-scale search. But despite their best efforts, they couldn't find so much as a trace of them.
Indeed, there was no evidence of retreat, nor any indication that they were in hiding.
It seems as though the Starless simply vanished, without a trace. Regardless, the fact remains that they attacked without warning and killed billions of people. Some people saw that as reason enough to take action. And so, Resurgent Arcs was formed. But that's a long story, in and of itself. Why don't we take a little break for now? We can continue again, when you're ready. Let's get started then. People were traumatized by the Starless attack 500 years ago. Some of those people formed what would go on to become Resurgent Arcs. That much we've covered already, right? Can you continue, Feria?
Yes. Resistance to the Starless threat developed and manifested in various ways. Zephedo was part of one such resistance movement. He had also participated in the war against the Starless. Zephedo was concerned about the decline in military capability and photon power at the time.
After the end of a great war 1,000 years earlier, there was a long period of peace. So, there was no need to focus on the military.
It's believed that the decline in photon power was related to the lack of combat. Zephedo began to study the most powerful unit in that ancient Great War to see if he could find some way to counter the Starless. That unit was Arcs.
His goal was to restore it to its former power. And so began Resurgent Arcs.
Zephedo claimed that the odds of the Starless reappearing in the next 500 years were high. He boasted that Arcs was uniquely suited to counter the Starless threat. Resurgent Arcs became a rallying point for people who shared such sentiments. His research was obsessively focused on the Starless's movement patterns. There are significant space-time fluctuations which occur at certain intervals. Among them, some are large, and others are small. The one 500 years ago was small.
He predicted that a major fluctuation would occur 500 years after that. And that brings us to the current emergence of the Starless. The exact causal relationship between these two events is not well understood. Or at least, not by the Lyseelans anyway.
I do not know any more than that. We had no interest in these sorts of matters. Before now, that is.
Meaning, Zeffetto didn't make a point of it. Or perhaps deliberately wanted to hide it. We may find more answers in Lucille's core. Can I trust you to continue helping us with our investigation, Feria?
Yes.